You know, a very fantastic actual evening to the viewers. Wherever you're catching the signals of Sararights TV from, we are so humbled to see that you are part of us and you are catching us live from wherever. You could be in Arua, it could be in Germany, it could be in Koboko, it could be in Yumbe, it could be in other parts of the world, streaming us throughout social media platforms. You are there on X, you are there on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We are across social media platforms, and we are as well live on free-to-air decoder. You can as well as actually join us on your phone in the through other social media platforms. Remember, so many sporting stories to be talked about actually within West Nile. Remember, Samson Sitokuti has kind of gotten a new home where he will be actually going. I'll tell you about that one in a short while. And then there's one big player who has kind of crossed over borders, and West Nile should be so proud from a regional league team. Then this player will now be officially playing in what we call the CAF Confederation Cup preliminaries in there. The player comes from Dramata Football Club, which I'll be talking about that shortly. My name is Geroh, the host of the show. Remember, Delco Total's actual bio will be tomorrow, and we shall give you in-depth analysis into the world of sports. This is what we call the Sports Desk show right here on Sararights TV, whereby we give you exclusive analysis in the world of sports. My name is Geroh, like I said, the host of the show. This show is probably sponsored by Byte Designs. Remember, for your designs actually activities, remember to log into his website, and you'll be getting actually all the information about Byte Designs after the categories in there. He's one guy who deals with a lot of actual activities in the world of design. He has got that knowledge in ICT, that knowledge in after the website designing. The best he will be important to give you. And then one of the biggest actual partners is Sararights Global Ventures Limited. They're the biggest actual partners of this actual sports show on Sararights TV. Like I said, I'm not alone in the studio. I do have my partner in crime, and whenever I'm not around, he definitely will be stepping into the studio and take you through in the world of sports. That's none other than Robanga Ken Morris, right here with me in the studios. Morris, you're most welcome to the studios of Sararights TV.
Thank you, Geroh. Thank you, Sararights TV. It's an honor being here. But for the first news, when I was coming around for the show, I looked into life. Then I said life is too short, because a short moment, a terrible accident happened in front of me. The two kids were totally badly off, rushed to the hospital. These are kids of, I think, Sir Andrew, whereby I think these schools should, they're a little bit, they know they're near the main road. They should look for any possible means of taking good care of these kids until they cross the roads, until they hand over the kids to their parents. It's high time that it didn't make me happy when people are actually looking on two people who didn't even get any accident, yet the two kids were badly off. So to our riders there, please go visit the hospital, then you see how difficult things are. Although we are just here for sports, but I felt as a human being, as a parent, I should pass the information to people who write wrongly, please. It's too much. Now the two kids, the conditions, I think after the show, I think I'll try my level best to follow up and see. But let's discuss sports.
All right, a very educated message from Maurice in there. Let's keep actually they're not very safe. Whenever you're actually driving, you need to actually maintain that the young children who are actually crossing the road, these are actually school-going children. These are people who will definitely come in and represent us in the studios here. We shall never be working here for a lifetime. So these are the kind of actual steps that we need to take, actual precautions of. But interestingly, actually, our sports desk has got so many tantalizing discussion points in here. One of them is about CAF as well, doubling the Women's African Cup of money in there. The prize money has been raised, actually the CAF kind of doubled the money. We shall be breaking to that one into details, and then UPA club in the names of Gaddafi Football Club. They are craving seriously and they're looking for the services of a coach. And who the coach is, we shall be definitely telling you that. And Thomas Partey has been charged with the assault of rape and sexual assault in there. We shall be discussing about that story actually at a later time. But let's first get the source of that with what happened yesterday in the evening. Immediately after finishing the show here, the news broke out that Samson Sizokuti has gotten a new home. And finally, he has left actually on the football club, whereby he has been serving as a coach player. And Samson Sizokuti has gotten a new club in the names of Pakwati Young Stars, whereby this is a team that finished third on the log in the actually Western Regional League in Nyagaki Zone, and this is a club that's kind of based actually down in Pakwati. They're a community-based club that has got structures and organizations. They're one of the most organized teams in Western football. Morris, what can you say about Samson Sisters after the Okuti's move from a big league club back to regional league club? What does it actually? What kind of sense does it give for Samson Sisto Okuti?
You see, on my side, I see him as he's trying to look for something new for his life. He's a CAF D player, a CAF D coach, a CAF C coach, whereby I think this is a high time he should prove to the world that yeah, I can pick this club from a regional and bring them maybe to big league.
Big league.
Yeah. So like I think this is what he's trying to fight for. If I go pick Pakwach, then they come to big league, it will be an addition to his experience. Actually, he's trying to create more experience because he has been with a school in the name of Mvara SS.
Yes.
Whereby he won a couple of trophies with Mvara SS.
Remember, he has been...
he's even still now, I think up to now, with Mvara SS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been following him so closely.
And again, he's the head coach of Western Province.
Yeah, he's the head coach of Western Province. So if you look at all the collection of experience he's trying to bring in there, I think you want to focus and say, okay, Caesar Samson Okuti picked this club from a lower level to a bigger level. But now the question will be, who are the in charge of the club? There is bringing him onto the board, and how many how many years contract did he sign? There is bringing me onto the board, yet the kind of facilitation may not be at the right time. Are they going to pay him like lump sum contract basis or monthly basis? Now, his projection also to a club, he must come out clearly and say, Pakwach Youngsters, give me 3 years to make this club a bigger club. Because without a projection, still, I see like it's a little bit, it'll be a waste of time. It's just a matter of who are the bosses. Let them give him time. He does his work. Will he be supported coming with his own technical people, like the assistant manager? Let me say as assistant manager, because you need to select your technical team that you have been moving with. Could we see him? Will he be moving with Bogere, the assistant at Mvara Mvara Secondary? So those are the questions. If they give him time and he select his own technical people, then I think he'll do the right work in that club.
All right, let's talk about the journey that Samson Sizokuti has been happening actually in the world of football generally here in Western Ireland. Remember, this is a coach who has got a CAF C to his name. And he has been actually one of the most influential coaches actually in the 4th Division League for a couple of seasons. Remember, he has been with the Senior Geroh Football Club for quite a long period of time. He assembled a very good team for two good seasons. And this team had got the potential after making to the Regional League, or perhaps to the Big League. But due to other issues that happened in the game of football, this club has been kind of disappointed as well at the last minute. That's Senior Geroh Football Club for 2 good seasons. So that kind of actually disorganization actually made Samson Sizokuti to reverse his mind to see that he's leaving this club. So he left a club in the name of Sararights Football Club, and then he joined a club in the name of Mvara Boys. Last season he was with Mvara Boys, and in the 4th Division League in Erua, they finished 6th out of 9-team log. So what kind of setback was that for for Samson Sizokuti failing to make amends with the Mvara Boys, one of the traditional clubs we have got in West Nile?
The traditional club doesn't mean he failed, because that was the time he was struggling so hard with Mvara Secondary. He has not been in the touchline for quite long. I think when when Green Forest won Mvara 2-1 at in St. Mary's Cathedral,
Yes.
he was not on the touchline. When we went back for the second round, he was also not on the touchline. He has been in a touchline for a few games. He was caught up with Nduparaka work also as an assistant coach, as a coach player. At the same time, you need to go to Mvara. I think the focus is trying to put in now. Let me leave these other things and try be my best. Like I'm no longer a coach player. I'm now a coach of a certain club specifically. I think it's going to give him a big move and a very good startup with the Pakwa side there.
All right, Maurice, let's talk about the balance in the how Samson Sido could be important to balance. I mean, his books. Remember, he still is. The head coach of Western Province. Actually, there's no doubt about that, and he has got the strongest relationship with one of the insiders in the team of Western Province. And at Pakwat Football Club, one of the insiders is Opio Isaac, and he's the chairman of the club. And Samson Sido, when he was unveiling him yesterday, I saw him actually on the picture, and he was actually standing tall with the Samson Sido Kuti. What does it mean? Does it mean that the Samson Sido Kuti will still retain his position as the head coach of Western Province?
Yeah, you have to. You can do a lot of like work. The good thing with this province coaching, it's not every season, and every season like it has its own time. It comes, then you do your work. You can run the club business. You can do whatever kind of work you feel like, because if you look at now, like a distance between Pakwach and assembling this boys to come and play for West Nile Province is not a problem, because Pakwach is still within West Nile. So it's just only like, let me say 10,000 you're in Arua from Pakwach to Arua.
That's by bus.
That's by bus. So at the same time, these players at times it takes it. You have the PROs, you have a lot of people into that province setup, whereby he will not be the only person acting throughout. There are people who are responsible for calling players to come around, to send players transport to come around and play the game. So the work of CIS, I think, will be to see who are the fit players to come and play for us and who is on form. I think that's the most task he should do at the moment. Is it choosing the players on merits? You understand? So it won't stop him from coaching Pakwach.
All right. Samson Siso could, according to the stories that I'm getting, he kind of signed in a very lucrative contract with the Pakwach youngsters, and this is a coach who has been actually his started his football career just within Varade, and you remember Varade is known of football, and generally here in Euro City they say that football was made in Vara. So we had to see whether Samson Sido would be making a mess. Remember, after playing from Vara, he actually crossed over to play for Idiofa Hills. That's Samson Sido. After Idiofa Hills, he crossed over to other big clubs. He played for KCC, he played for URA, he played for Bunyamaya.
So that's where I knew him better.
Then he went out abroad, and then he came back and he played down in South Sudan. So Samson Sido currently is not the head coach of Pakwach youngsters. After that, we had to see how he will actually be driving that team forward to see that this team goes through to the Bedpa Football Big League next season. Remember, the strikers have been kind of changed, so it will not be a one-legged affair to see that the team that finishes on top will be facing the team that actually finishes top from Northern Region. We are yet to see how Samson Siso will be actually thriving with the team in the name of Pakwach youngsters that has got big structures and a big organization right in there. But let's leave that and that, and we'll talk about one of the biggest stories actually developing this evening. It indicates that a player in the names of Abedi Moses, who has been captaining this team of Dramachaku Football Club, has finally left West Nile, and he is currently in South Sudan, that's in Juba, in a team called Qatar FC. He'll be playing in the CAF Confederation Cup, that is the Europa League of Africa. Remember, from the regional league direct to what we call continental showpiece, and what an achievement for a player in the names of Abedi Moses from Dramachaku Football Club. But Morris, let me first speak about your interest on the money that team of Dramachaku Football Club might get from his services after him signing for Qatar FC down in South Sudan.
You see, the movement of players in Uganda here at times is not known. The agreement between the player and the club and the other buying club at times is not known. You just find out that somebody is signing a contract, but you'll never be clear with the structure of the payment. How much will Dramachako benefit out of this player? You might not know. The way he even left, you might not know. You just see it on social media. The guy had signed a contract, but at the moment, I don't see whether there is any clear information that Dramachako FC will maybe gain something like maybe 10 million shilling out of his sales, or maybe the player is getting this such amount of money. It is not truly confirmed, but the only thing you'll see, he had signed from Dramachako FC to Katore. So I think this is a structure whereby we should set up. When a player is leaving, a player should leave, leaving also this other club behind happy that at least we gain something out of you. You remember, if you still remember the story of Muhammad Shaban and KCCA with Onduparaka, it's almost of the same saga. You don't know the exactly amount of money that the player is getting out of the sales. How much will the club benefit? You don't know. So I think this one comes due to not paying our players good amount of money, so that a player will just move out a player will just move out without even telling a club that I'm now leaving.
Now, more of the performance that actually a player that plays in the third division league is not supposed to be actually receive actual salaries in there.
No, like let me tell you one thing. This is where FIFA goes wrong and say a player who plays in a lower league must actually, a club must not sell.
No, the club can sell. The club can sell.
The club can sell.
The club cannot actually pay these players on salary basis.
It's just I'm coming to the point. Dramachako has been there in the league for several seasons, and if I'm not mistaken, they are one of the most sound club within West Nile, following I think maybe the likes of Onduparaka, the likes of Raka FC. These are Total FC. These are clubs that have been there in the game for long. So you cannot tell me that you haven't got a serious roots of paying players like the way Leah does. Leah, they don't pay players directly, but there's a way they work with community to generate money for these players. These players even go and offload timbers out of these trucks.
That's the same thing that does with the players also.
So the basic need is let them come out with a structure that if you're leaving a club, be confident to us. Release players. I know there are very many clubs here of a lower league, even like including Green Forest or maybe the Airfield of so-called. They will never release a player, even though they will always say this player is still in our system. But you're not paying a player. Release him. I think what Dramachako did, if this guy sat with the management of Dramachako and said, I've got a deal in South Sudan, please send me free, go, blessings upon his way. And I know him. I've watched him playing against Bull in Uganda Cup. He's one of the most talented midfielder. I watched him playing at Greenlight when Dramachako was playing on Duparaka friendly. He's too good. He's super. For me, I'm just happy to him that from his lower league, joining a bigger club to Continental, I don't know, it shouldn't be like it's just a paperwork that is trying to convince people online, but let me pray for this young lad that he goes through. We also have a player who is about maybe to also join somewhere, but we need to be confident. When he joins, we say, blessings upon your way. You understand?
Okay. Before we talk about that player, I know you're talking about the captain, that's Luanga. Onduparaka has been closely following his services, and other clubs as well has been actually following his services, including Airfield. I think anytime soon you may see clubs actually coming to the technical team of Green Forest to see that Luanga is released for them. But let's first talk about a player in the names of Apite Moses, who was brought over to Qatar. How much of an advantage is this move for him? Remember, playing regional league, then you'll be playing the continental soccer. Remember, here you can be spotted and you can be taken to Europe.
No, his talent was speaking for him. There's no doubt. He's so much talented. He's so good, whereby at times you even feel he's not fit for such a club. But you cannot say he's not fit for such a club, because this is a club that developed him, that exposed him. At one point, even KCC was trying to follow him, but I think he was so much convinced in Qatar, this South Sudan, this best Juba club, with money, with everything. You know, in Uganda, you always sign a 2 years contract, 1 year, 1.5. So if you had got where he can sign a good contract and he gets good money, let him just expose more talent so that he cross over.
Remember, a player in the names of Albert Moses spearheaded this team of Dramatic Football Club, which is actually spearheaded by the tactician in the names of Lolo in there, a very young tactician. And if this kind of steps are kind of taken by by his hierarchy like this, I think it is a very good progress for a coach in the names of Lolo in there. I think he has done a tremendous work with team of Dramatic Football Club. I think the hierarchy of Dramatic needs to appreciate his services. Remember, he did take this team, to the Western Regional Playoffs, whereby they didn't actually lose it to Team the Descent Football Club by 3 goals to actually nailing in the penalty shootouts. That clearly says that this is a team that had got big ambitions, and unfortunately they didn't make it to the big league, and they will still be playing in what we call the Western Regional League. Remember, Albert Moses has has signed a 2-year employment contract with Qatar FC of South Sudan. I know that would be a big amount of money. Now, let's talk about one of the stories developing this evening indicates that Team Gaddafi FC, who were newly promoted to sometimes Ghana Premier League, are changing from coaches in there. And one of the coaches that they're talking about, Matt, is a coach in the names of Abdullah Mubiru, who has got a vast experience in Ghanaian football, and he has been with KCCA, and finally he has left KCCA, and then he's jobless, and Team Gaddafi FC, one of the institutional clubs in the country, is looking for his services in the names of Gaddafi down in Tebe. Do you think Team Gaddafi will be in position to acquire the services of a highly rated coach in the names of Abdullah Mubiru?
Yeah, they have the capability. Gaddafi they have got the money, they have got everything that a coach needs. It's only giving him a proper time and say, you know what, you're coming into this league for long, but come up with your own structure. You see, this is all about structures. If I come to your home without a structure, that means I will not do something right. But if I also give you a condition that, you know what, within these 2 to 3 years at least, do something good, we need at least a trophy, or maybe we need you to push us maybe up to continental football. It will make sense. The reason why our coaches comes and then they don't make the best, at times our expectation is too big that he's going to do everything. But at what time had you given him the time? Let him come with his work plan. I need this and this on board. I need money, because it's all about money at the moment and buying good players. The reason why the KCCs, the Vipers, they are making it because they have got the money. They are paying players at the right time. Players are not lacking. You understand? Other clubs, players even buy their own playing boots. Whereby a club like Vipers, a club like Villa, you go find everything there. So I think Gaddafi is not a bad club. The Entebbe-based club, they have been a little bit good. If you look at the way they are in the big league. Transportation, you have never got anything, like maybe they have missed the game because of they didn't turn up because of so they are well equipped in terms of financial. It's only get Abdullah Mubiru with all these expectations, but I'm going to get maybe 20 million out of this. Give him the money, he will do for you the job.
Remember, this is a coach who started to actually replace Robert Mukasa in there. Where do you see whether he will be in position to sign in for a team in the names of Gaddafi? Remember, it's still a rumor, and we shall be following this one closely. Remember, there are other coaches who are kind of spotted by this team of Gaddafi Football Club in there. One of them is Simon Peter of Police FC, and Simon Peter is one of the coaches that has been so much actually working closely with Fabio Ahmed Borini of Western, and the reports that I'm getting ought to indicate that Calvary are closing out of monitoring the services of Simon Peter from police in there. So let's look at Calvary Football Club. Remember, they are still coachless. Their coach doesn't have the required papers actually to take this team to the to Southern Ghana Premier League. And the next one that they're talking about is a coach in the names of Simon Peter. Do you agree with the fact that Simon Peter has got a good relationship with actually Borini, who has been here in Western for a longer period of time? Remember, he's actually a football career with a club in the names of Cop Horizon Stars before actually he switched allegiance to go in and coach out a team in the names of Caliber Football Club. Remember, he was also working so closely with the Piero in the names of George, who's kind of taken up after that by other factors down in South Sudan. So, would you love to see Fabio Ahmed Borini and Simon Peter, who previously worked at Police FC, pack their bags and go in and coach a team in the names of Calva Football Club to represent West Nile in the Southern Ghana Premier League?
It would be a very good movement for these two gentlemen because they have worked together, they have been together, they had their way back, they know their each and every one weaknesses. I think they know how to call emotionally, technically, physically, they know how to handle each other well. You know, at times there are no good days in office. Also, if you know that today my colleague Borini is not in a good in his good move in the office, there's a way you try to stay with him in a nice way and like call it you harmonize things. Being together means a lot. They have created a lot of relationship with different players at the moment. That's what I know. The only question would be, will Calvary be capable of maintaining these two bodies together, like in terms of finance? Then, because these are the coaches who have got both good papers. You understand? So will they manage to maintain them? That is the biggest thing. That's the biggest question that we should ask. Will Calvary maintain these two big bodies? They are good coaches. Police do pay good money. That's what I know. Actually, Police is one of the clubs that actually don't even like they don't take time with wages for players. Actually, at that point I know. But now with this kind of whereby you're going to focus on maybe get collections. You haven't got a lot of maybe sponsors. I think at this time, Calvary should focus to bring these two bodies and make sure they get as enough as sponsors as enough to maintain these two bodies, because they are going to, if they are to come, although it's still speculation, it's going to be one of the best West Nile move for these two bodies.
Remember, Simon Peter and Fabio Ahmed Borini are officially out of contact with the Team Police Football Club. Remember, they've terminated their contact already. So we have to see whether these actual bodies will be important to reunite and actually come back to West Nile and see that they represent actually us very well. It's still a rumor, but we are following that story closely. In case it happens that way, we shall always be important to update you with the latest information. Remember, Calva Football Club is a big entity. It has got its structures where they've actually planned in there. It has got the sports ministry, the church ministry is there, the education ministry is as well there. So we're yet to see whether Team Calva Football Club will be making amends in the Southern Ghana Premier League out there in their debut season. But let's talk about the FIFA inspections. And the last time that Team Calva Football Club played against the Black Angels, the field looked to be not to the standard of actually playing games of sometimes Ghana Premier League caliber. Remember, they were kind of empty spotted. Empty spots in there actually on their pitch, and the FIFA doesn't want that. FIFA wants a green pitch, and what we are seeing on ground indicates that the Calvary Football has got other facilities well planned. They have got the dressing room, they have got the toilet, they have the perimeter fence. But now the biggest challenge for them is about the pitch itself. Will FIFA be in position to actually allow Calvary Football Club play their games actually at Midigo? That's the biggest thing. And secondly, should Calvary Football Club shift actually from playing from Midigo, or if they should come and play maybe at the height of maybe Town, or else they should actually move away from maybe always play in a row, always in a Jumani?
I'll start with the question. Should Calvary look for another opportunity to play somewhere else because of the FIFA rules? No, I think FIFA should understand that in northern Uganda, during dry season, it's always a big portion, a very big task to play. Whether you like it or not, you will get some empty areas anywhere in this part of northern Uganda when the place is too dry. So it's a very good pitch. It's of standard, but if they are talking of only empty spots, I think Calvary will try their level best to do the best job so that they work on the spots, because they made the standard of perimeter wall. They have it. The standard of dressing room, classic. It's one of the best dressing room actually in Ugandan pitch. Moved a lot in most of all these stadiums, but still the one for Calvary looks to be one of the most favorite. So the other question is, should Calvary look to a place to play maybe in Yumbe town or what? No. It will not make the community very happy. This is a community club whereby it has got a blessing through the funds within the community. People can still board from Yumbe town. They go support their best team. That is Calvary right now. The only team in West Nile in Uganda Premier League. So if we can move from here to Adjumani going to watch West Nile Province, why don't we move from here up to Yumbe, up to Midigo to go and watch Calvary playing? So because now at the moment you're going to incur Calvary into a cost of looking for another stadium, a cost of putting all of the facilities of like maybe dressing room and everything, and those are all big money. Building a dressing room of a capacity of maybe around 200 people to 300 people is not easy. It's quite a number of amount of money. So I think they should only maintain there are few areas that maybe FUFA is trying to look at the loopholes, then they work upon it. They maintain playing at Medigo.
All right, Maurice, let's talk about CAF itself. Remember, CAF has a kind of increased what we call the total energy to women's actually African Cup nations actually prize money in there. Remember, that money has been doubled, and the winner itself will be getting actually Baba money around $1 million US. What's actually an increment by CAF to see that the women football grows in Africa. And remember, this year's actually tournament will take place down in Morocco, and the slogan is they were born
to win.
Yeah.
It's a very big setup. It's a very big development. Someone winning now at least $1 million USD, which is around in Ugandan shillings it's around 3 point something billion. Yeah. Whereby, but you look at the cost also, because you going to play in Morocco, assuming you're from Uganda, you're going to spend in a lot. You need to cater for hotels, you need to cater for your transport, everything. So at the end of the day, cost of living may even be too high, whereby with all your technical team, you may see what you have spent, you would have gained some small profit. It looks too big in terms of Ugandan figures money, but if you convert it and begin looking at the expenses and everything, it may look a very smaller money. So it's a very good actually motivation that I think CAF want to show that football in Africa, ladies, can now improve better, because we are still lacking a little bit of it. We are only known over Nigeria, South Africa, Cameroon's ladies. Those are the house power of women football in Africa. So this time, since the increment has been done, I think more teams will go through, more countries will go through.
Remember, the winners will get around $1 million US. So if you convert that money into Ugandan shillings, it's approximately to 3,585,930,000 Ugandan shillings. That's what actually the winner will be getting in there. And then the second up runner will be actually getting around 500,000 US. So if you convert the money into Ugandan shillings, around 1,792,000. 792,965,000 Ugandan shillings. Then the team that will be finished actually in the third positions will be in position to get 350,000 US, which is approximately to Ugandan shillings 1,255,000,000 in there, around 75,500. That's a bamba money. We cannot actually due to time be in position to tell you actually one of these actually salaries that these teams will be getting. Remember, this year's Women Africa Cup of Nations will take place down in actually Morocco. So we have to see whether CAF will be in position to actually to reap big from this kind of setup in there. Remember, FIFA itself has kind of raised actually the prize money for those who will be actually winning, or what we call the FIFA Club World Cup. So I think CAF is trying to copy from or what we call is actually bigger body in the names of FIFA to see that the prize money for actually for women football actually in Africa is kind of raised a little bit. Remember, CAF is looking at also attracting actually the standard fan base and as well the television ownership and the other commercial actually partners on board to see that the flag of African football is raised actually abroad in there. Morris, let's talk about the story developing about Thiago Jota's actually death in there. Remember, Thiago Jota and his brother in the names of Under Silva Paris actually yesterday. When we were here for the sports talk in the evening, actually we discussed lengthy about his death. And remember, Thiago Jota's actually death battle will be tomorrow in a place called Godumar down in Portugal, around the city of Porto. So these players will be laid to rest tomorrow at around 10 a.m. In there. So what is this and what actual kind of embarrassment that the world is going to remember? This is one of the tragic incidents that has happened in the world of football, and all over the world, people are mourning these two great actual legends in the world of football.
Yeah, Jota has been always a patient player. He's one of the players that you will never even hear him complaining that I do not get playing time. The most sorrow moment is whereby you just waited, then later on, 5 days ago, you come in and like get such a terrible accident. Although he was actually being told by the doctor not to get a flight because of a lung surgery, something like that. So he was just trying to rush to catch up with the ferry. It's a sad story because losing the most beloved person like Jota, and he's a dad of 3, is not something easy. Although at one time we shall also be called by Allah Himself. But it's quite so painful for the two boys in one family. It's only I could keep on repeating, may his soul rest in eternal peace. This is a player who was picked up by Johan Klopp, so his kind of talent at Wolves. Then he came around to join Liverpool. He had never complained of playing time. This is a player who is very happy with everybody. Every player could actually, at the moment, if I read about Salah, that we lost one of the best friends who is always keep on making fun, joking, like you can imagine, but it had happened. We are not the deciders on this earth. It's only Mighty who is the decider, but may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Remember, he will be actually laid to rest down in his ancestral home in Godumari in there. So that's actually arrangement of a player in the names of Diego Jota. Remember, it will be 10 a.m. The time in Portugal. That's when the burial will start in a church called Manthez, the Godumari Church, down in Porto, located around 30 kilometers from the city of Porto. So everyone, I think all over the world will be mourning after the burial of Thiago Jota. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. So, Morris, let's first talk about the story that's actually developing. So, cooking there. Remember, Thomas Partey of Arsenal Football Club has been charged with 2 actual assaults in there. One is a rape one, then the other one is about sexual assault. So, remember, Thomas Partey has been investigated for 2 good seasons when he was still playing actively for Arsenal Football Club actually in the Premier League. And after leaving Arsenal Football Club, then the investigations have quickly started against Thomas Partey, and the Metropolitan Police have kind of given the priority that he may be tried in court. That's Thomas Partey. In case he's actually found guilty, definitely he will be actually getting, the charges actually against him. Remember, there are around 3 ladies who have kind of reported the same incidents against Thomas Partey. So we have to see whether he'll be important to survive one out of the 3.
It's always very, very, very difficult to understand such kind of scenarios with these star players. I don't understand, but my own thinking, I have always a negative thinking about such criticism because it's very hard to tell whether he did it or not. With this kind of development that is now coming out, anyone can accuse you of anything. You looked at how the young lad of Manchester United survived the saga. The one who now left to Lyon?
Anthony.
Not Anthony.
Greenwood.
To Marcel. So like, these ladies they will always claim because they know you have the money. And if they want to put you down, they will try their level best. So if it's true, then why should people do not learn? I think he's a man who have the money, who have played for Atletico Madrid for long, came to Arsenal. He has the money, so why should you go for it? That's back to humanity era. Yeah? Because if it's not a setup by maybe people who wants him down, they want his money, then why should you do that? But if it's not a setup, then it's a very, very, very bad example in actually in the entire world. I don't support somebody who does rape. You may find maybe these ladies are allegedly because they want him to go down. Because yeah, let me tell you one thing. People are evil nowadays. That's why, one, if Morris I the one, I don't entertain what we call going out, kind of, because it's very simple for someone. It's very simple for someone to allege you that you have raped me. I don't entertain like these ladies into my room because of one thing. They may allege. Then how would you refuse? You'll go for medical checkup test. They'll brave the doctor already. So I don't entertain. There are some categories of human being I don't entertain in my life, Geroh. Not for bad, but for security purpose. Person like Pate with high like degree of understanding, with money. Why should something? And I don't know, is it kind of like a, because if you look at if you leave football alone, there are people who are in prison because of such things, and they have the money. Then you ask yourself, why the money for?
All right, let's talk about the investigation that have been taken against actually Thomas Partey. Started way back in 2021 and 2022 season, and the three ladies who reported against her, him, kind of on the safe side, and they'll be waiting after for the appeal from Thomas Partey. So he's actually call up for his allegation of it actually will take place down in UK with their Westminster Magistrates Court on Tuesday, August 2025. That's when the court hearing actually will take place down in UK on 5th of August. That's next month. That's when Thomas Partey will be tried actually at court in UK in a place called Westminster Magistrates Court. That's in UK. So where to see whether Thomas Partey will be actually proving himself to be innocent or he'll be proved guilty. In case he's proved guilty, then definitely he will be suffering the consequences actually of the charges that are being actually put against him. Remember, in Europe, issues of rape, issues of sexual assault are keenly taken up serious, and it's kind of so touching for a black man like me in the names of Thomas Partey, Morris.
It's very touchy because issues of rape, issues of it's not only in Europe. In Uganda, yeah, it's even worse. So if you do it, you have to be punished. But why should you do such? That's the question. But for me, this allegation I'm seeing, there's a technical part of it whereby there are people whom I will believe in, there are people whom I will not believe in. Because assuming you go for a nightclub, you understand, these are the scenarios. But for me, I'm just praying hard for Thomas Partey not to lose every investment he had got just because of in the name of rape. No, it doesn't. It's not giving us, like we the youths who could maybe follow his footsteps, a better movement in life, man.
So unfortunate for Thomas Partey, and we have to see whether he will be proved innocent in that court in there. So let's talk about transfers, and one of the latest actually developments so this evening indicates to us that let's pick it from Italy. Mauricio Sarri's team in the names of AS Lazio, player in the names of Matteo Guendouzi, who has formerly been playing for Arsenal Football Club. I remember at Arsenal Football he was playing so consistently under the stewardship of Unai Emery, who kind of left the team and crossed over to Aston Villa. So this evening it's reported that Matteo Gunduzi is attracting interest from Premier League clubs. Those are Newcastle United and and Aston Villa itself. And we have to see whether Matteo Gunduzi, per the stories we are getting, indicates that Manchester says he wants to keep hold of Matteo Gunduzi. Remember, Team Lazio finished actually 11th in the start time in what you call the Serie A table standings in there. So so unfortunate for a player in the name of Matteo Gunduzi with his versatility in the middle of the park, and definitely teams that will be playing the trade in Europe. Remember, Newcastle United will play in the Champions League, and Aston Villa will be playing in the Europa League. So playing in Europe means a lot, and Matteo Gunduzi has got the potentials, and all these teams are looking for his services. And remember, his release clause at team Lazio is around 60 million euros. What a player in the name of Matteo Gunduzi. Remember, at Arsenal Football Club, he had injuries. That's kind of costed his football before he crossed over to Marseille.
Yeah, he has been like a good player, just although injury front. He used to be at the heart of the midfield itself. Now, if the team of in the name of Aston Villa comes out and say, I need your services. Of course, like as Lazio, they are not going to play into whether Europa or Champions League. So I think his biggest focus is let him come and play into the Europa and Champions League.
All right.
Because at the moment, the reason why some clubs are not getting these players on time, they are focusing on Europa football.
All right, more let's leave it at that and talk about Manchester United. Remember, there are around 4 or 5 players at United who have kind of expressed the interest actually of leaving Manchester United. I will be telling you those players who are they totally actually here in there. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. That's number 10 has officially been taken off from Marcus Rashford, and is Matheus Cunha who will be done in that's number 10 at Manchester United 2025-2026 season. That's Matheus Cunha. What does this one actually say to the public, that is Marcus Rashford still the player that United will keep hold, or is he's the player that United will be actually let him go? Remember, Tyler Malacia has informed United that he has the wish of leaving the club. Then Anthony equally said that he has informed the club that he wants to leave. One of the players is Garnacho, who has boldly said that he's leaving. Then one of the latest is Jadon Sancho, who are attracting serious interest from Juventus. So what does this one mean for Marcus Rashford after taking that number 10 up from him?
Of course, it shows you we don't need you at Manchester United. It's better you try somewhere else. It doesn't show in a kind of manner that after you giving my shirt, then I come and compete for another shirt. Yet I know I'm too much exposed into that shirt number. I think it's high time he should maybe try to develop his relationship at Aston Villa so that he remains there. He's a good player. He's still a young lad. He can still copy up and make it, unless if he changes a few things. For me, I still believe that Rashford can still be a better player. He's still a good player. It's just a matter of trimming him a little bit with a few discipline cases and everything. England will miss him if they don't trim this boy. As an England coach, should actually get him and talk to him that you're still young, your age is not yet too big, you can still make it. Relax yourself, come back into the game, go compete somewhere else, come back into the national team. But he's a good player.
But all these players, these are all important players for Manchester United, to my observation, and all these players are leaving Manchester United. Where do you think Manchester United belongs right now?
You see, Manchester United saga, it has been a long-term saga. For me, I could say, if you look at how Sir Alex Ferguson used to call for his coaches, like to replace him, I realize he comes from a royal clan in Scotland. So he doesn't maybe want any other coaches to break the legacy he made at Manchester United, because by then, although I was still a little bit a child, but I used to know who were the best teams. By calling David Moyes is not a bad coach. That and then the kind of name that given him, the chosen one. Moyes had never won any trophy with Everton by then, but he used to finish at least fourth, actually fifth, eighth. Yeah? You understand? But he was not a competitive coach who had trophies like Ferguson himself, maybe like Wenger, like Gerard Houllier of Liverpool of those days. You understand? He never had any history. Then every time you keep on seeing him watching the game, another coach they gives different name. Mourinho came and tried a few trophies, the special one, and I thank Mourinho because by the time Mourinho came to England, he used to make noise in each and every game. Media all over. He kind of made the English Premier League so competitive. That's when we found out the likes of Didier Drogba. Then later on, this man leaves. Abruptly, Cristiano Ronaldo also leaves. Yet these were the pillars of the club by then. You understand? So the structure of Manchester United coaching, kind of like the way they bring in coaches, it's not too proper, and that's why Ten Hag came with a lot of pride, with a lot of ego, whereby you must not be talked about. If you talk about him, it's a problem. This other guy also, Amorim, is trying to look for his own youngsters. That's why you see the likes of Duku. He's trying to recruit good young players. He doesn't want players who like look at him as if they're of the same age, players who can like give him hard time in dressing rooms. He still moves with yes players who are developing talents, which is okay. But for how long will you develop a talent at a club which are used of winning trophies like Manchester United? You understand? So it's quite still disturbing. A player like Garnacho, for me, I think it was going to be yet one of his career at the moment picking up easily to make things work better. A player like Anthony, it would have been one of his best moment at the moment to prove to the world that yeah, I'm at Manchester United, I'm doing it. Besides, we disagree with a certain thing. It's just a matter of framing these players to become right. A player like Jadon Sancho, he has been a wonderful kid at Dortmund. When he was sent to Chelsea, he won some trophies with Chelsea. So the caliber of the players that are trying to leave, these are the most important players that are trying to let go. But fine, we shouldn't judge him wrong because he also has his own philosophy. He played a good game at Sporting CP. He won some trophies with Sporting CP. But remember, English Premier League is something a little bit different. It's one of the hardest leagues to understand.
Yeah. All right, Maurice, let's leave it that and that. Before we talk about the game that will be coming actually tonight in the FIFA Club World Cup, remember tomorrow we will not be here actually in the studio to give you exclusive analysis in the game. Let's talk about Arsenal Football Club. Remember, Arsenal Football Club actually has made it very official that they will be selling around 5 players in that team. So one of these players that they're talking about is a player in the name of Rich Nelson, whom they launched to Fulham, and at Fulham he kind of managed to have like 12 appearances for Team Fulham, and in these 12 appearances he managed to actually have 1 assist and 2 goals. And one of the players that Arsenal Football Club is saying that they are going to set him off is Albert Sambi-Lokonga, whom they signed him from Anderlecht, and Fabio Vera, whom they signed from FC Porto way back in 2022 and 2021, actually respectively in there. So let's talk about this side of Arsenal Football Club. Remember, these are all promising youngsters that Arsenal Football Club wants to sell away. Remember, Rich Nelson was at Fulham on loan. Then Albert Sambi-Lokonga was at Sevilla down in Spain on loan. And again, Fabio Vera was at Portugal, at FC Porto in Portugal, and he never actually cemented his actual purchase in there regularly in there. So Arsenal Football Club is willing to sell all these youngsters away, and Arsenal Mikel is saying that he will be keeping hold of players like Martinelli, who were attracting interest from Saudi Pro League side Al Nassr in there, and Leonard Trossard. So these are the players that he said he will be keeping them whole. Actually, in the team of Arsenal Football Club before, we talk about the FIFA Club World Cups coming tomorrow and today. So what's your take about the youngsters that Arsenal is willing to send them off?
If you look at the youngsters, they mentioned their names. They've been for their loan spell, but they have not been performing, giving results in their loan spell.
But
yeah, they are still young, fine, well talented.
You said the only player who never performed to the expectation is Fabio Vieira at Team FC Porto. But some of these players are kind of performing to their best.
You look at the analysis whereby you in 12 appearances you hit on it. How many assists?
One assist, and 2 goals. That's what it's.
Yeah, but I think you cannot come and put, maybe let me say, you cannot bench a player like Martinelli down. You cannot bench maybe a player like Trossard down. So for me, it's better if Arteta gives him opportunity, he goes and look for a playing time club to develop more talent. Because why should I keep on where should I hold you when I'm not giving you playing time? So it's high time, let these young lads go out, showcase their talent, say, okay, fine, you never liked me, but now I've improved. Yeah.
Remember, we are just some 3 minutes away after, from finishing the show, but we shall go past that, and we shall need see how we shall be talking to the management there. Remember, this show is probably sponsored by Sabirama Global Limited in there and Bike Designs. They are the sole sponsors of this particular show. But let's first talk about the FIFA Club World Cup that will be coming up today. Fluminense of Brazil will be up against Al Hilal of Saudi Pro League, and is this guy in the names of Simone Inzaghi in the helm of Al Hilal of Saudi Pro League up against Fluminense of Brazil. The game will be at 10 p.m. East Africa time. Then at 4 a.m. in the morning, Palmeiras will be up against free spending team. That's Chelsea Football Club, for it to be at 10 a.m. in the morning. Then tomorrow at 7 p.m. sharp, the biggest game will kick off. PSG up against Bayern Munich. Then Real Madrid will be up against Borussia Dortmund. Maurice, of all these games, so let's first pick it from Fluminense that play in Brazil and Al Hilal that plays in Saudi Pro League, that a league that everyone thinks that has got a lot of money. Then a team that is down in Brazil in the names of Fluminense. What a cracking game! And which team do you think that have got that upper advantage? One of the people normally say that the football is made from Brazil. So should money bit of it actually work against football being made in Brazil?
This time is not going to be money bit of it. This time is going to be actually the talent in Brazil that is going to make it. Although most of these 2 leagues we don't follow it closely, but if you look at the statistics, how Fluminense has been playing and Al Hilal, I think Fluminense looks at a better side because in the group stages, all the Brazilians were showing talent that they were all leading the 4 groups. Whereby if up to now, if you see the two clubs are still constantly into the league. For me, I do believe that Fluminense has the upper hand of winning against Al Hilal.
So let's talk about the Chelsea game against Palmeiras. This is a very huge game, and Chelsea Football Club has been so consistent, and they have actually never disappointed their fans, and they've kept actually the flags very high in there. Chelsea Football Club, remember, they are fresh from winning the UEFA Conference League, and they're craving so much to see that they made it. After they make their way through to the finals, and they are right now the favorites because of the money that they have spent actually on the current ongoing transfer window, and most of these players are playing for them. Are you seeing Chelsea Football Club making amends and see that Team Palmeiras is actually dumped out of this competition?
It's possible because they have spent a lot of money in the transfer window, bringing in the players on time, the deal-ups, and so on. And these are players who are trying to follow up some good footsteps. So there's no doubt about that. They have got the experience. They have got the good quality players. The only problem that will face Chelsea is one. These are the players you don't, the Palmeiras players, you don't know them better. You understand? That's why they are getting, that's why the Man City was knocked out easily by Al Hilal, because this is the league that they undermine, that this league is not, so as I told you last time, these people, they always come in and they want to show that however much they undermine our league, we want to show that this league is still one of the best leagues. And then you look at Brazilian leagues has very many these small leagues than English Premier League leagues, like leagues in England. So for me, if Chelsea win, it will not be like a gamble because they made a lot of signings. But if they also loses, they are still making it. They are still recruiting a better team to compete next season in Premier League.
Actually, let me give you the starting lineup for these teams. In the a team in the names of Palmeiras has gone in for 4-2-3-1 formation. In goal is Waverton, who is in the goal. Then the four backline English players like Van der Leyen is actually on the left hand side of the pitch. Then the central defenders include Fukas alongside Gui. They will be in that center back actually set up in there, and then Rocha will be on the right hand side of the actual attacking there. The midfield two include players like Martinez doing it alongside the player in the names of Rios. And then the attackers include Estavio on the other left hand side, and then on the other right hand side we have got Alan supporting actually Rookie. Up front is a player in the names of Mauricio in there. For Chelsea Football Club, as usual, a player in the names of Nicolas Jackson will be out for them due to the red card that he got actually in the group stages in there. Then Wesley Fofana is again absent for them after having a knock in there. So Chelsea Football Club has gone in for 4-2-3-1 formation, like how Palmeiras has gone in. They have Robert Sanchez in goal. The right hand side has got Marco Correa, and then the centre backs have a partnership of Colwell alongside Barasivil, and then James is on the other side of defense in there. And then the midfield two include Romelu Lavia alongside Moses Caicedo, who won man of the match actually in their last game. And then on the other side they have got Neto on the other side of the attack, and then Fernandez actually supporting Leon Delap in there. Cole Palmer is on the other side. So what an interesting lineup set up by Chelsea Football Club. Remember, this is the lineup that they played against a team actually in their last game against in the group stage. So impressive in there for Team Chelsea Football Club, and we have to see whether Team Chelsea Football Club actually will make amends actually in this competition. Then, Morris, let's talk about before we know that we are time bad, but let's talk about the PSG Bayern game briefly before we talk about the Real Madrid Dortmund game that will come up actually tomorrow at at 11 p.m. East African time.
I think PSG still the best team at the moment. Vincent Kompany should still learn that PSG has been so patient. They have spent money for the last 5 years bringing good stars, but now it's working for them without any big world name with them. So it's just a united team, and they got a collective of good midfielders like the Vitimas, a lot of good players like the Dembele. Still want to prove that he's still one of the best kind of attacking midfielder. There's no doubt about this. For me, I'm going in for PSG.
You're going for PSG. So let me take you to the summary of the game is coming up again. Fluminense will be up against Al Hilal. That game will be 10 p.m. today, East African time. And then tomorrow, it will be up in the morning hours. Palmeiras will be up against Chelsea Football Club. The game will be at 4 a.m. Then tomorrow, 7 p.m. sharp, East African time. PSG up against Bayern Munich. It will be a course up against a player who kind of started just newly in the names of Luis Enrique, will be up against the Vincent Company. Then Real Madrid will be up against Borussia Dortmund in what we call Spain-German affair, and then France-German affair also tomorrow is kind of interesting there. But remember, this show has probably been sponsored by one of the biggest companies that we have got within Arua City in the names of Sabrima Global Actual Ventures Limited in there. Then Baiti Jamal had one of the managers actually dumped into this show. Remember, it has been so interesting having tuned as watching us live actually on Sararights TV. It's been a very big pleasure. Let's meet again actually on Monday. It has been me, Geroh, the host of the show. I had my partner in crime. Whenever I'm not around, he'll be stepping in and there. He'll be doing one or two things with you in the names of Rubanga Ken Morris, the owner pride actually in Western, and he assumes he's the owner pride actually in the whole world. So, Moses, your parting thoughts.
Actually, in the whole world. But my parting words, riders, please be careful. Think about life. Think about children who are coming back from school. We are all parents. We have those painful time when it happens to you. So let's take good care of ourselves when we are.
Not
we shouldn't.
Today, I know it's full of accidents.
So
the story that I'm getting indicates that the coaster of Springs Kindergarten School and has gotten an accident with the pupils down in the water. And again, here there was a next accident
that also
happened.
It's a pity. Let's try to take care of our cars. Let's take our cars for services. We shouldn't drink and drive. It's first Friday of the month. I will send out all to shout out to the local community in Kampala. I think I've missed something big. We always do cultural. We come together. We eat our cultural food. So I think I've missed a lot. I know you, the followers and the viewers, will love you too.
All right, thanks so much for watching Sararights TV. We'll be back again on our screens on Monday. That's from 6 to 7. It has been me, Geroh, alongside my colleague. That's Morbanga Ken Morris, the owner of Pride Authority in West Nane. Thank you so much for watching Sararights TV. We're out of here.